Hey guys, it's Ro. Welcome back to my channel. As many of you know, I am talking to over 200 Beast Games contestants, crew, and about 20 ex-employees of MrBeast and a couple current ones. And in talking with so many people and hearing their experiences and stories, there is simply no way I can stay silent. I will explain more in the future, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I cannot in good conscience do nothing. So I'm going to keep talking about these kinds of things on my channel, and I am also going to continue to make baking videos and foodie videos because I love baking and it's one of my favorite hobbies in the entire world. So this is going to become a very unique channel. I've been joking with my friends that this is going to be a channel where you can get cookies and tea. I'm now serving cookies and tea. So for this video, I'm going to be watching and reacting to the new dog pack video. But first, before we get started, I wanted to read you a tweet that Trey Yates put out. For those of you who aren't familiar, Trey Yates is a former employee of MrBeast. He was very involved with many of MrBeast's most popular videos. This tweet just came out, so let's take a look at it. Trey is the purple text, and he is talking to a MrBeast employee while he worked there. He writes, "I am so anti-Team LaKoya right now. What's happening right now? He fucked reacts over bad. All right. Didn't let me know talent was in quarantine, and I wasn't aware until they were 48 hours into it. Jimmy is taking it seriously, as he should, but on top of that, Chris is so overwhelmed and tired from almost dying over the weekend from the FBI agent that he let me know he's not feeling like recording." This is just crazy. The FBI agent was not vetted properly, but LaKoya is not taking responsibility for it. Almost dying? From the FBI? What? Shit, did you not hear about that? Not at all. Bad shit doesn't spread around through Jimmy. Jimmy has been hella busy and not being able to take any calls over the weekend though. So stuff was definitely happening, but I just assumed that was the FBI filming. The first FBI agent they had hit Chris's car from behind with Chris, Carl, and Nolan in it, and he drove them off the road and they crashed. WTF? Wait, like WTF? There is no fucking way. After they essentially parted ways with the guy, he said the experience gave him PTSD from when he was in Afghanistan in 2003. OMG. Before filming, he was talking about how being at war in Afghanistan was actually fun though. So yeah, Jesus Christ, not sure if it's an excuse or real. I'm not sure either, but there's footage of him driving the talent off the road. At any rate, I told Chris I understand if he can't film today. LaKoya is not answering anyone at all. He knows he fucked up massively. Didn't the FBI video turn out great? Or it did when they brought the second guy in. I gotcha. It was scrapped for 12 hours until they found another guy who was apparently very chill. Jimmy was joking around about it yesterday though, so he's aware it was a problem. There is a long history of Jimmy shoots, MrBeast shoots being very dangerous. I'm gonna read this part again because it's a lot. First FBI agent they had hit Chris's car from behind with Chris, Carl, and Nolan in it, and he drove them off the road and they crashed. They are so lucky that nobody died. Not only did this put the three of them at risk, but it's putting the public at risk too. Driving recklessly like that, this is why it's important to properly vet people for videos. And according to these texts, it sounds like that is something that is not being done. So after getting in a big car accident, they're lucky they didn't die. They find another guy and keep filming in 12 hours. If this is what happened, 12 hours is not enough time to properly vet someone. This is dangerous. Let's move on because reading is hard. So today we're going to be watching a video together that Dogpack made. If you aren't familiar with Dogpack, he is a former MrBeast employee, and I find his videos very informative and eye-opening, and I'll be linking to all of them down below. He's posted 3 of them, so I'll post links to all 3 of them. The one that we're going to be watching today is the most recent one, the 3rd video that he posted. All right, so here we go.
Okay, so this video is going to focus around one instance of essay. I wanted to put all the essay allegations into one video, part 3, final video until Jimmy responds at least. I sort of overestimated how easy that would be. As far as like getting everything approved with victims and lawyers, and like also traditional media is involved. They've been DMing me.
I'm going to stop right here because I just want to say I really like that he is telling these stories, and I also like that he is letting people come forward in their own time when they're comfortable. I think that that's really important. I have personally heard some of these other stories myself, and I'm really proud of him for addressing these issues and bringing these issues to light.
Time Magazine, also like documentary people, I don't know, you're like, hey, I've worked with Netflix and Hulu and Apple TV and Peacock. Are you interested? And I'm like, I don't know.
I really like that he mentions press here. I myself personally have gotten dozens of people who wanted to come forward and share their experiences in touch with press. I've been working in traditional entertainment for almost 20 years, and I have a lot of relationships with very reputable people from media. So if any of you out there have stories that you want to share in any capacity, just let me know. My DMs are open on every platform.
People should go to those more legitimate sources to get their stories out. So I've been referring people to other people because traditional has, more resources than I do and better legal protections than I do for sure.
They have
I
more
do have
resources
sort of
than me.
that bigger project, the original part 3, and I have a lot of other interviews and other allegations that I'm working on.
And he's clarifying here that this video isn't part 3. This is more of an update video.
Putting together so I have something for when MrBeast responds. If his response is bad, then I can sort of point out, hey, he lied here and he deflected and straw man argument or whatever, as well as like dropping new allegations and doing it in an opportune way so that they get the most eyeballs. But yeah, I just wanted to say this is just around sort of one allegation. Also, everything in this video is allegedly. This video is not monetized. It's for educational purposes only. This is matters of public interest. I'll put a full disclaimer on the screen. But yeah, here's the video.
Great reminder. Yes, this is all allegedly.
Okay, today I'm going to be covering MrBeast's secret CEO, James Warren, and his involvement in SA cover-ups, like the one including his best friend, LaKoya Hill, who also happens to be MrBeast's secret chief operating officer, or was. And then I want to touch on the man himself, Jimmy Donaldson. MrBeast has very publicly and transparently been engaging in a massive cover-up, deleting a lot of evidence, and I think a lot of this cover-up is going sort of completely under the radar. We're not even aware of what's being swept under the rug, and they're getting away with hiding and deleting evidence.
I've been hearing whisperings of things that are going on at the company, but I cannot 100% confirm those things yet. But things that are already confirmed is that he has been deleting comments like crazy, anything about any of these allegations, and they've been editing out parts of videos on his main channel on the back end. Little clips are disappearing everywhere. It appears that they do not like some of the evidence that are in those videos.
After I called out James Warren by name in my last video, his Instagram and Facebook got taken down, and his LinkedIn got taken down.
So there's more stuff being deleted, and if you don't have anything to hide, why are you hiding everything, and especially your LinkedIn? And as this video goes on, you're gonna see more stuff that they're deleting. And I'm just wondering, what else are they deleting? Creator Games 3 footage? But as you guys know, I'm currently undefeated against Logan Paul in the game Hide and Seek.
Just a quick profile on James Warren. He's Jimmy's cousin and secret CEO, and I say secret because, they're not very open about that fact. Like, he doesn't post about it on social media. It wasn't ever attached to his LinkedIn. He's never featured or really referenced anywhere. I heard that he's very aggressive. I've heard him referred to as a psychopath who screams at people and hits his girlfriends.
So I'm just gonna let this play, and I'm not gonna touch on the specific allegations because James Warren is a very common name, and they're still figuring out what exactly has happened with him. But I will say that every employee that I've talked to that knows James has said that he is one of the worst people that they have ever had to work with.
James Warren, also allegedly an ex-drug addict. I've heard that he offered cocaine and hookers to editors to stay late.
Now, I haven't heard about this exact allegation, but I have heard rumors about editors being offered things that no company should be giving people.
And then the really big thing is that there was some incident between him and a female colleague that resulted in the female colleague leaving the company and receiving 3 years in severance pay.
In my opinion, that is hush money. If when you leave a company, they give you a 3-year salary, that's a sneaky way of doing hush money. Hush, hush. I have heard of at least a dozen what I'm going to call hush money payments. There's a lot going on.
I'm still actively looking into this incident, so if you have information, let me know. But I've heard from multiple credible sources that this is true and this did happen. Also, I should quickly clarify that a lot of this investigation is allegedly. That's sort of the nature of these instances. I have a lot of testimony, corroborating testimony. But the reason I'm publishing this is that hopefully it brings more information to light. Like after, the Jake Weddle interview got posted, which was all mostly testimony, people came out corroborating a story, and then ultimately Jimmy ended up apologizing and offering him $190,000, which to me I think is most likely an admission of guilt. You don't apologize for things that you didn't do. So anyway, I just wanted to get that out of the way. But what's not allegedly is that James Warren was the former COO of acquisitions of a real estate investment firm called Greenstone Ventures LLC, which is one of the businesses listed in this indictment of his former business partner, Joshua Hutchins, who was sentenced to 10 years in prison for running a real estate Ponzi scheme.
Ponzi schemes are great up until they just go bust.
So before...
I won't touch too much on these specific allegations because I know that they're still doing some digging, but these are awful. If this James Warren is the James Warren CEO, Jimmy's cousin, that is running MrBeast, a lot of things are making more sense. And if the date at the bottom of these documents is accurate, 2022, this is only a couple years ago. Just in general, I think that this shows a lot of like-minded people hanging out.
Again, that's my opinion. That's all allegedly. Now on to his alleged best friend, LaQuia Hill. They both went to UNC Chapel Hill together, and they both, after graduating, got into real estate. But by 2017, LaQuia Hill was running an adult entertainment event business.
Okay, so LaQuia Hill is good friends with James Warren, who is Jimmy, MrBeast's cousin, and the CEO. So he hires him as a producer. This is the first job that he has at MrBeast. For those of you who don't know, they all live really close to each other. Even James Warren and Jimmy Donaldson, MrBeast, they live on the same street.
Our party evolved into this place where, you have the drag queens, the muscle daddies, the bears, the twinks, the posh boys.
Now, I'm all for personal freedoms. I believe adults should be able to do whatever they want. However, I question what qualified the sort of go-go dance drag daddy of San Francisco for a job producing YouTube content for children. But, it'd also be weird if MrBeast hired Johnny Sins as the janitor, I guess. That's not the real issue, though. The issue is that in late 2021, he was allegedly fired for sexually assaulting his assistant. Now, I put fired in quotation marks because he was actually quietly moved to the dubbing company, which was Unilingo at the time.
Before we go any further, I just wanted to let you know that I reached out to some former MrBeast employees to get their thoughts on LaQuia Hill, and they said very similar things to what's in this video. And I had been talking to them way before this video came out. This has been brewing for a very long time.
Email, links back to him, links to these photos, one of which was the profile picture for his YouTube channel, which also after my first video, his YouTube channel mysteriously got deleted.
Hold on. More deleting.
And at some point, his Twitter also got deleted. I don't know if that's when he sexually assaulted his assistant. I don't know if that's after my first video got posted. Either way, Booty Call Wednesdays are canceled. He was actually...
No, not Booty Call Wednesdays! They're my favorite day of the week.
Brought back to MrBeast in 2023 after sexually assaulting his assistant prior.
Whoa. Hold on. I gotta write this down.
Back to MrBeast in 2023 after sexually assaulting his assistant prior and promoted to Chief Financial Officer.
Oh, he corrected it on the screen. Chief Operating Officer, COO.
Which is how I personally was introduced to him. Here's some evidence from the internal Slack channel at MrBeast showing LaQuia Hill acting in some COO capacity, saying there's news reporters outside, do not engage with them. This was shortly after the Time magazine article came out.
I'm really glad that he mentions the articles. I'll link to a bunch of them down below in the description, and I would just encourage you to read them. They're very in-depth. They have a lot of info in there, especially reading them with a new perspective. They're very eye-opening.
So here I have a document showing Testimony from former MrBeast employees talking about LaQuia Hill. When I say verified former MrBeast employee, I had them send some form of proof. I know who some of these people are. They just want to remain anonymous, but I'm willing to share this with like an independent third party if it needs to happen. Personally, I don't think MrBeast is going to deny sort of this LaQuia Hill story that I'm going to show you. But here's the first testimony, and I'll say this person is especially credible in my opinion.
I really like that he's touched on this because a lot of people don't understand why people don't just come forward and speak up. A lot of the reason is because they're under NDAs, and NDAs usually, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm going to go check with mine, usually don't cover when the company or an individual at the company asks you to do something illegal or that is illegal. There's a lot of things that they don't cover, but it's kind of a scare tactic, and a lot of people fear this piece of paperwork and don't speak up. And the verified contestants that I've been talking to said that their NDA for the Beast Games is $500,000 per infraction. So because the number is just so big, they're just too nervous to speak up. They want to share their experiences, they want to share what happened to them, but they're afraid of the NDA. Just because you signed an NDA does not mean they can treat you however they want.
Is especially credible in my opinion. I asked them, did you see or hear of any sexual misconduct at the company? They say yes. LaQuia Hill, the current COO. In 2021, he had an assistant named victim's name. I heard LaQuia acted very inappropriately with victim, booking hotel rooms with only one bed, walking around in his underwear, having victim come to his house and showing him his sex toy collection. Just in general, LaQuia made victim uncomfortable. Victim started complaining to higher-ups and a report got written. LaQuia was put on paid leave for like a month. Then MrBeast moved him to the dubbing company and he was hired back in 2023 and was promoted to COO, even though Jimmy, James, and Sue 100% know his history. Also, I heard that when victim was let go, he was given $30,000 in severance.
There's some severance.
I could get you victim's number. I don't know if he'd talk. I respond, yeah, that'd be great. Also, is there proof he moved to the dubbing company? I could look. It was the original dubbing company called Unilingo. MrBeast practically forced them to hire LaQuia, and then they poached Unilingo's employees and copied their whole business and created Creator Global. Verified employee number 2. Asked them the same question, have you heard of any sexual misconduct at the company? They say yes. I don't know how to spell the name, but LaQuia, something like that. He was brought in last year after having not worked there for a year or so at a very high level. I respond, LaQuia Hill. They say the reason he had been asked to leave previously is that he had sexually harassed someone that still worked at the company when he was brought back. Yes, LaQuia Hill. But they brought him back knowing he had sexually harassed an employee previously. And people often talk about LaQuia making them very uncomfortable on shoots. I verified employee number 3. I'm looking into more accusations of sexual misconduct at the company, wondering if there's anything you could corroborate. Have you heard of anything about LaQuia Hill? They respond, the old gay guy who likes to bang 18-year-old straight employees? Yeah, I've heard of him. Anything non-consensual to your knowledge? I heard he got in trouble for hooking up with his 18-year-old straight assistant, but the company kept it quiet from what I heard. He's a producer and worked in the adult entertainment before MrBeast. Yeah, LaQuia Hill Entertainment. I heard he was fired for sexual harassment, then brought back a year later. That's what I heard too. Employee number 4. Do you know who LaQuia Hill is? Yes. And you're aware of the case that has been covered up for some time. Explain. Essayed multiple people, apparently roofied multiple people as well. Verified employee number 5. I'll also say this person is especially credible, but they worked there a while ago, like 2020, 2021, around then. Okay, few things. LaQuia sexually assaulted his assistant who was straight and LaQuia was gay. You probably already know that, but James is best friends with him, so holy shit was that surprising that they kept him around way longer than they should have. There were reports of him making the assistant sleep in the same room/bed with him on trips, touching him inappropriately, and dangling his job in front of him. Employee number 6, did you hear anything about LaQuia Hill? I heard that incident happened. I heard they let him go, and I heard they brought him back and just put him in a different department. And I don't know, but I think he's working there again.
So he's hired as a producer, then alleged sexual assault happens, and instead of firing him, they move him to another branch of the company called Unilingo, the dubbing company, and then they move him back to MrBeast as the COO. That is Chief Operating Officer. You basically have your hands and eyes on everything. MrBeast is supposed to be a family-friendly company. He sells candy bars to kids, and he's just launched a toy line at Target. His audience are youth, they are children, children, and he markets himself as a family-friendly company. He has executive-level employees not being held accountable and moving them around like a dirty Catholic church priest. Like, this is gross. There is also a whole story with the company Unilingo, and let me know in the comments if you'd like to learn more about that. I feel really bad for them because LaQuia Hill was basically forced on them to work there. I feel bad, and it might be interesting to do a deep dive because I feel like Jimmy ripped off and tore apart Unilingo, which wasn't created by Jimmy. That was created by someone else.
Now, recently, MrBeast has let LaQuia Hill go. They had this sort of leaked email where they say, therefore, along with Jeff Hausenbold, our new president and COO.
I said this on Twitter, but I do not think that this looks like a leaked document. In my opinion, I don't think he wrote this. This memo was also leaked right after he hired that big fancy crisis management company. So in my opinion, they wrote this, slapped his name on it, and it was their first attempt to rebuild the public image.
Right, alluding to the fact that LaQuia Hill is no longer working there. Now, I have been open with MrBeast about the fact that I was going to cover LaQuia Hill. This is a single frame in my first video where I reference LaQuia. He's also in my Twitter header. And I've also just told people who work at MrBeast that they have to let LaQuia Hill go. So they did what I wanted and let him go, right? Well, just on a whim, I decided to look into the Creator Global LinkedIn, and it had gone private to where everyone just shows up as a LinkedIn member, right? But I saw this, L, LinkedIn member, president at Creator Global. I thought, you know what, that's a little suspicious. So I reached out to one of my connections close to MrBeast and I said, hey, can you look into this account for me? Because sometimes if you have connections, you can see private LinkedIn accounts. And this is what they saw. LaQuia Hill, listed as the current president at Creator Global. No work history between graduating UNC in May 2001 and becoming the president at Creator Global in 2024. Dude, this is like the 3-cup game where you gotta like keep track of the pets and races as MrBeast just moves them between companies.
They just sort of kept moving them around. You know, like those killer whales at SeaWorld, after it kills a trainer, they'll then move it up to Seattle. They don't give them their background.
Which I heard, you know, MrBeast or James Warren forced Unilingo to hire LaQuia as sort of part of their partnership without, you know, sending them the report on his alleged sexual misconduct at the company. I also have a voice memo from James Warren showing that they told Unilingo to process a $28,000 bonus for LaQuia, which there's definitely something suspicious going on with that.
Hey buddy, it's James. Sorry to be bothering you. I've done my absolute best not to bother you. But LaQuia had presented a bunch of stuff to me and Jimmy a little bit ago. All really great stuff. But he had asked me and Jimmy personally, he's like, hey, you know, can I have a $28,000 bonus for work I did in the past? And I'm like, yeah, of course, man. And the reason for that is I had brought him up to my level and I don't take bonuses. So for like 2 years, he didn't get any bonuses when our guys were getting like crazy percentage bonuses. I need a favor. Sue cannot process this bonus through Beast. I need a solid. Can you please process a 28K bonus for LaQuia? Let me know. Bye.
Sus. We're getting on the sus bus. Sue is Jimmy's mother, who's in charge of all the finances at the company. Why can't Sue process a payment for LaQuia Hill through Beast? And also, James Warren says that he brought LaQuia up to his level. James Warren is at the very, very top. He is the secret CEO of the company, and LaQuia was the COO. Those are both executive level positions at MrBeast.
Then they used LaQuia to try to steal Unilingo's business, poach their employees, take their clients, and then MrBeast launched Creator Global, where LaQuia Hill is currently listed as the president. So that's LaQuia Hill. And that's just what I can put on the record. I will say that if MrBeast tries to deny this, more evidence will be brought to light, and more people will definitely come out defending me, saying, hey, this is true, these allegations are true. This is all true. Allegedly, in my opinion, for legal reasons. Okay, now let's move on to the man himself, Jimmy Don.
Okay, jeez, there's more. Oh, and I really don't want to look at this. Can we like put a penguin over this or something?
First, I'll show this testimony from another former MrBeast employee just to show sort of the work culture, especially from a female's perspective. She says, on my very first day, I was told to avoid being alone in a room with certain people in positions of power. At least once a week, I was subjugated to inappropriate questions and conversations. Once, a male coworker asked me what I would do if Jimmy said assaulted or harassed me. On another occasion, this same coworker said it wasn't fair that women could just decide a past sexual encounter wasn't consensual. Many of the men I worked with would make assault and pedophilia jokes on a daily basis. They would scream and hit walls when they got upset. The minute any woman leaves a room, they would talk about if/how they would fuck her. I've heard men comment on female contestants' bodies many times. Not everyone behaves this way, but no one openly speaks out against it in fear of losing their job. If you complain about any of this, you'll be shamed for being too sensitive or just ignored. You can't take anything to HR either because Jimmy's mom runs it. It's pretty common for people to essentially get paid to leave and stay quiet if they make enough noise about something. There is no employee handbook, by the way. If you ask for one or what the company's policies are, they just tell you to ask them and they'll let you know if anything is against the rules. But again, there's nothing in writing, which is true. The leaked document is just the production manual. Not given to all employees.
The document that I shared on my YouTube channel was the leaked production manual. If this is true, I find it odd that a company this size doesn't have an employee handbook. I even have an employee handbook and I'm a very small company. That is odd, but it seems to be par for the course here. I think it's inappropriate that his mom runs whatever HR they have, because if people come in with complaints against her son, what is she gonna do? Put Jimmy in timeout? She's always gonna side with her son. That's her son. There's a lot going on in this message, and a lot of what's in here has been confirmed to me by other people in the past.
They just tell you to ask them and they'll let you know if anything is against the rules, but again, there's nothing in writing, which is true. The leaked document is just the production manual. Not given to all employees. Here's another testimony. This person will go on the record. This is Jess, who accused Ava Chris Tyson of sexual assault. I think her case has been sort of mostly ignored because she wasn't a minor when it happened. But she was a MrBeast employee, and you can see in her evidence and her communications with the company the clear signs of a cover-up. You can see them threatening her with legal action and emails and saying oh, we're gonna have a law firm investigate this. Well, they had one firm do an internal investigation, McGuire Woods LLP, the same law firm that sent me my first cease and desist. But then they hired, Harvey Weinstein's legal team, allegedly, to re-review everything. So I guess they weren't happy with the results of the first internal investigation. Also, this new law firm, Quinn Emanuel, MrBeast has worked with them previously.
I've honestly lost track of how many investigations are going on at MrBeast, but in all honesty, I don't think that they will ever share the real results of those investigations, what they actually found.
Allegedly, to internally investigate LaKoya Hill's sexual misconduct. So why don't you make that report public, Jimmy? Anyway, here's Jess's testimony. I only hung out with Jimmy a handful of times, but he definitely was a little more reserved around me because I wasn't a part of his inner circle, or the boys club as it's called. I did hear Jimmy straight up say that the guy making a documentary on him right now has footage of him saying stuff that would absolutely get him canceled. It's just a well-known thing the boys club is misogynistic and looks down on women in the company despite what they might say publicly. Behind closed doors, the women in the company know that the culture is a problem. I have heard multiple stories of Jimmy being directly informed of SA happening at the company and proactively working to keep it quiet. So Jess directly implicating Jimmy in the SA cover-ups. LaKoya with an 18-year-old straight assistant, so she's one of the people corroborating that story. Ava told Jimmy about a time she was essayed by another talent member on a private jet, and talent members/employees making advances towards contestants was a regular occurrence.
I don't know if you guys are hearing this or missing this, but Ava, Jimmy's best friend, was allegedly essayed by another talent on a private jet, and they didn't do anything about it. And for the record, I am not defending Ava Chris Tyson in any of those actions that individual did. I do not agree. I am not down with that. Who is this other talent? Because talent is the term he uses for his inner circle of friends, and I'm very curious. I want to know.
The reason all of this was able to happen for so long is because Jimmy is deeply misogynistic and only respects what he considers to be traditional women. He pushed those values into the company when he created it, and it resulted in several SA allegations we know about, and probably a lot more we don't know yet. Which I will say, a lot of the SA allegations are...
If this is true, I don't think an investigation is going to be enough to fix the problem. I think you're going to have to clean house.
Not public. Man, just fire James Warren and LaKoya Hill. Fire them, don't just move them around. Or I'm gonna start dropping nukes. Anyway, let's I'm gonna move Maddie Spadell away from all this. I just want to touch on this briefly. So Maddie Spadell, who's MrBeast's very public ex-girlfriend of 2.5 years, posted this on her Instagram story. She doesn't mention Jimmy by name. It's sort of vague. I think probably either because she's under an NDA or maybe she's just testing the waters to see how people respond before sharing more information. But also it's like not that vague if you have reading comprehension and can read context clues. She says she spent years being quiet, never acknowledging that time in her life. 19 to 21 are formative years. It impacted how she saw herself and how she trusted men. Months of therapy. She says how he treats other women will ultimately be how he treats you. So how does Jimmy treat other women?
I don't really get along with women. I don't really get along with women. I don't really get along with women.
Well, women are stupid because they're inferior to men.
That when she and a group of contestants who were menstruating during the event had asked the production staff about getting their underwear more quickly, she had been told that it was not a medical emergency.
You'll never actually respect a woman, but just act like you respect them.
My God. MrBeast withheld my birth control. I have ovarian cysts. You can't just stop taking birth control.
I don't really get along with women.
So those are clips from the podcast that I call his Unhinged podcast, where he expresses a lot of his feelings and opinions about a lot of issues that I do not think are healthy. I'll just leave it at that.
Also in this podcast, Jimmy goes on to talk about his relationship with his current girlfriend, Tia, in very weird ways, in my opinion.
For us now, like an idea of a date is just to like take an IQ test and then study and see if we can get a higher. An idea of a date is just to like take an IQ test. And then she was like, I'm an author. And I was like, fuck yeah, good. She has a hobby. And then I just DM'd her. I was like, oh, so your book, can I read it? She sent it over, read the whole book, and it was just like acting like it was the greatest book ever. I don't really get along with women.
It's all of our jobs to protect our friends, our moms, our wives, our sisters, our daughters, ourselves from people like that. That's a pretty clear statement, if you ask me. Now, I almost feel like there's been a campaign against Maddie Spidell to discredit her before she's even shared any information. A lot of like clout chaser and gold digger allegations. I'll say this is also from that Rolling Stone article. They referenced the breakup. The reporter says, Maddie Spidell, who's appeared in a handful of videos, those in MrBeast's inner circle told me that Spidell had been a positive influence, forcing Donaldson to prioritize work-life balance more. Donaldson did not want to comment on the record about the breakup, citing Spidell's privacy, yet Chris Tyson, says Donaldson's singular focus on work was a major contributing factor. I think that's what he's going to be looking for next. Somebody who can match his obsession with business and money and all that kind of stuff. So not a bad word.
So the people who I've talked to who knew Maddie, they have said that she's very sweet. This is actually a clip from one of the articles that I read in a previous video on my channel. And again, I'll be linking that article down below because there's just a lot of information in there that if you reread it with fresh eyes, kind of starts to jump out at you.
To be said about Maddie Spidell from Jimmy or the people in his inner circle, which is pretty unusual of an ex-girlfriend. I'll show some of the brain dead media coverage headed by Cuckstar and his news organization Drama Alert. So here's just one of his many posts about Maddie. A thread of every time MrBeast's ex-girlfriend allegedly shaded him, downplaying the clout-chasing claims against her. So let's see this extensive thread. One post of a TikTok where she says she was traumatized at 19. Why do you think that's about Jimmy, Keemstar? Allegedly complaining about MrBeast fans. This is her most popular TikTok period with over 6.5 million views and was posted last year. And then Drama Alert goes on to give one more example. And that's the end of the thread. So see her most popular TikTok seems to be alluding to her relationship with MrBeast. And then she has hundreds of more TikToks where she never even tried to recreate the success of that first TikTok, right? Like if I'm her social media manager, I'm telling her, hey, post about Jimmy more. And she obviously knows that if she did that, she would get more views, and yet she doesn't do it. Hundreds of TikToks, about 30 of them are about Taylor Swift, maybe 3 are about her ex-boyfriend of 2.5 years, which for a Swiftie, it's extremely low to post only 3 times about your ex-boyfriend who's now incredibly famous. So if she was clout chasing, she's doing a horrible job at it. Now, Drama Alert, on the other hand, has posted more times in the past month about Maddie Spidell than Maddie Spidell has ever posted about MrBeast.
I'm glad that Dawson is being really respectful of Maddie. I just really appreciate that in this video. And for all the people who are saying that she's clout chasing, I just want to say that it's okay for people to speak up about their real experiences of their life. Just because you're dating someone who has money or who is rich or well off does not mean that you don't have a voice and your voice doesn't matter.
I want to address that because I think MrBeast knows Maddie has nukes against him and he's trying to discredit her. So let's look at this leaked email. This is from MrBeast. It says, yesterday Dawson saved 100 billion. Whoa, guys, whoa. Guys, I don't know how that got there. That was the wrong email. I don't know how that got there. Yeah, so I've actually heard from pretty credible people that this email was not leaked. So, why lie about it? Devious or deceptive tendencies. Here he is quoted in that Rolling Stone article saying, I'm great at lying. But I wanted to focus in on this part where they say, therefore, along with Jeff Hausenbold, our new president and COO, we will be hiring a new chief human resource officer, chief financial officer, interesting, and general counsel, along with other roles to add capacity and competencies to foster a better internal culture as we continue to grow.
If replacing your mom's jobs with hiring new people is the first step to making your company less toxic, then where do you think this company culture is coming from? Just keeping it in the family of Jimmy, James, and Sue.
In an initiative to foster a better internal culture is Jeff Hausenbold. But what's ironic about this is that Jeff Hausenbold has been in the news previously for the internal culture that he helped create as managing partner at the SoftBank Vision Fund. Here's New York Post. Nasty executives shaped macho culture at SoftBank Vision Fund. And here's Bloomberg Business Week. SoftBank Vision Fund employees depict a culture of recklessness. It has also been described as an environment of sycophancy and harassment. So seemingly all the problems that people have with MrBeast's internal culture. But this Bloomberg article also goes to call Jeff out by name. Jeff Hausenbold collects cars, including a blue Ferrari, and claims to own a 20,000 bottle wine cellar, although he doesn't drink himself. Acquaintances describe him as smart and arrogant and almost entirely lacking in self-awareness. He's also gotten away with some questionable behavior. In a discussion about whether to invest in the stationary bike startup Peloton in 2017, according to two people who were in the meeting, Hausenbold opined that its exercise equipment appealed in part to men who masturbated to its workout videos.
Why would he say that at a meeting with people in the room? Projection much? I think he's tattling on himself. Or this is the reason ladies don't be feeling comfortable at the gym.
Dude, I want to jerk off! Fuck! I want to jerk off! Look at this!
SoftBank denied the claims, but it's an oddly specific thing for two people to make up a story about masturbating to Peloton workout videos. So yeah, maybe I don't see the vision with hiring this guy as the new president. Also, this is just what I can share right now. I do have more information that I'm trying to get out. Trying to get permission from the victims and everything. Also trying to save some things for when MrBeast responds. So anyway, yeah, thanks for watching.
All right, that's the end of the video. A lot more stories are coming. And a big thanks to everyone who's been reaching out to me with their stories. Thank you for trusting me. And to anyone who may be thinking about reaching out, my DMs are open on every platform. All right, I'll continue to keep you guys updated. Thanks again. Bye.